Well, thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for this tremendous report. Thank you for, on behalf of the Joint Economic Committee, bringing forward this Manufacturing Jobs for the Future report, which lays the policy foundation and reviews lots of the different bills that are part of the Manufacturing Jobs for America initiative to make it clear what an enormous opportunity we have right in front of us. As the Senator just explained, this report on manufacturing from the Joint Economic Committee lays out both thoroughly and thoughtfully why manufacturing has such promise and how Congress can act to spur manufacturing job creation now and into the future. The report shows how today manufacturing jobs, as Senator Klobuchar spoke, are high-quality jobs. They are no longer dirty and dingy and dangerous as they might have been a few generations ago or decades ago. Today, manufacturing jobs are jobs worth fighting for. They pay more in wages and benefits. They help create more local support and service jobs. They contribute more to the local economy than any other sector. And manufacturers invest the most of the private sector in R&D. 60% of those employed in R&D in the private sector are in manufacturing. 90% of the patents filed come from manufacturing. Why? Because we have to continually innovate to win the global fight for manufacturing leadership, to grow our exports, as we have significantly, as Senator Klobuchar mentioned, to grow our employment. We've had to continue to innovate. So there is a constant and positive feedback loop between innovation, invention, and manufacturing. Manufacturing is coming back. As you heard, we've grown more than 550,000 high-quality manufacturing jobs since 2010, and the values of our exports, of our manufacturing exports, has gone up more than 38%. But what's most striking about the facts that Senator Klobuchar just went over is 600,000 unfilled manufacturing jobs, where but for the skills gap, we could fill those today and more than double the number of newly created manufacturing jobs. Overall, these reasons are why we launched the Manufacturing Jobs for America initiative. That's a campaign to build support for good bipartisan manufacturing legislation that Republicans and Democrats can agree on. So far, 26 senators, including Senator Klobuchar, have come together to contribute 44 bills, including her America Innovates Act, which just was introduced, I think, this week. 31 of these bills have been introduced. Almost half of them already have bipartisan co-sponsors, and the rest are actively seeking Republican co-sponsors. We are willing to work together across the aisle to refine these bills into bills that can really make a difference, that can help put Americans back to work, that can help us win in our access to export markets, and that can help grow manufacturing through access to capital. Our goal is to generate more of these bills, to refine them, to work with Republicans, to build consensus, to get them introduced and get them passed. The bills in this campaign are organized broadly around 4 different ideas, which are reviewed in more detail in this report as areas for policy. First and most importantly, strengthening America's modern workforce to make sure we've got the STEM education, the connection between high school and community colleges, between community colleges and universities that are so essential to the modern manufacturing workforce. As Amy pointed out, there's a significant change going on in the workplace. You have to have some post-secondary education to really successfully compete in the modern manufacturing workplace. And there's a whole raft of bills that are part of this Manufacturing Jobs for America initiative that have to do with skills and workforce. Second, it's critical that we fight for a more level global playing field to open access to markets overseas, and there's several bills that address that. Third, and as Senator Klobuchar mentioned, one of my bills is in this area, access to capital to invest in research and development, new equipment, new products is also essential. Capital constraints are one of the main reasons our manufacturing sector isn't growing even faster. And fourth, we can do more to ensure coordinated government-wide efforts, whether it's to review regulations, as Senator Klobuchar's bill suggests, or to have a national manufacturing strategy. All of our major competitors have a coherent national manufacturing strategy. We don't, and we should. And there's a number of bills in this organization, in this initiative, that would deal with that issue, with the lack of a manufacturing strategy. Manufacturing today is fundamentally different than when it fueled the growth of the post-war boom and built the American middle class. As this report shows, the areas that have changed, such as the work itself in manufacturing, reflect the areas that we need to make further changes in. Improving science, technology, engineering, and math in our schools, making sure that we've got folks who are up to the standards of the world in terms of critical thinking skills and capabilities, who can communicate with each other on the factory floor in ways they weren't expected to 10 and 20 years ago, actually understand the details of the process and work to improve quality and output. Our workers are the most productive in the world, so they need to be the most skilled in the world. These are investments we can and should make together. Manufacturing holds the same potential for this coming decade and this century as it did in the 20th century. But we have to modernize, not just the skills of our workforce, not just our efforts to access foreign markets, not just our access to capital, but we have to modernize the way we here in the Congress work together. This is a rare opportunity for us to actually work across party lines, refine the ideas laid out in this report and embodied in all the bills reviewed in this report, and make real progress to accelerate America's manufacturing revival. Amy, this was terrific work. This was a great report. I'm grateful for your leadership, and I am grateful for the release of the Manufacturing Jobs for the Future report today.